Imagine being so confident, so convinced you were smarter than everyone else online, that you willingly snorted baking soda because a stranger told you it was cocaine. Yeah, and the worst part? He begged us to let him do it again. This happened back in the Wild West days of the internet, when there were no moderators, no rules, and absolutely no consequences, unless the community decided to create justice themselves. And trust me, what happened to this creep was chef's kiss revenge. If you've ever dealt with someone online who crossed the line, someone who thought anonymity made them untouchable, hit like, subscribe, and settle in. Because today's story isn't just revenge, it's community justice, early internet style. This story takes place around 1999, back when the internet wasn't polished or safe. No profiles, no verification, no moderation. You entered a chat room, typed a nickname, and that was it. You were whoever you claimed to be. And while that freedom felt magical, it also attracted the worst kinds of people, especially creeps. The kind who used private whispers to harass women. The kind who hid behind fake personalities. The kind who believed the internet belonged to them. Back then, protecting yourself online wasn't handled by platforms. It was handled by users, by communities, by people watching out for each other. And ours was called the Attic. The Attic wasn't just a chat room. It was a tribe. We built our own small website where trusted members gathered. You didn't join by signing up. You earned entry. Someone had to vouch for you. We had warning boards listing known creeps, guidelines for behavior, support systems. If someone started harassing a member, we acted together. One of our favorite tactics was beautifully simple. We'd coordinate silently, then spam a creep with hundreds of private whisper messages at once. Their screen would explode with text. Connections lagged, panic set in. And within minutes, they vanished. 95% of them never came back. But some predators were smarter, patient, careful. And that's where Farmer Bob entered the story.
Around that time, I was 20 years old. I met my girlfriend through a real-life meetup organized by the community. People traveled across the country just to finally meet the voices behind the usernames. She was 21, confident, sharp, and absolutely fearless online. If someone behaved badly, she didn't argue. She outplayed them. Inside the community, there was a running joke. She wasn't just good at dealing with creeps, she was more evil than the devil. And honestly, that wasn't far from the truth. Farmer Bob didn't arrive waving red flags. That was the problem. He blended in. Friendly enough, normal conversations, nothing obvious. Until younger members started messaging us privately. Unwanted emails, strange comments, persistent attention that felt wrong. He was careful, never openly disgusting, just subtle enough to avoid suspicion. But predators always reveal patterns, and once we compared notes, the picture became clear. Farmer Bob wasn't harmless. He was hunting. We didn't want drama. We wanted proof. And maybe, just maybe, a lesson he wouldn't forget. My girlfriend volunteered immediately. "I'll bait him," she said. Her plan was simple. She created the persona of a naive new user. Friendly, curious, slightly vulnerable. Exactly the type he targeted. Within days, he took the bait.
Their conversation started casually, then quickly turned uncomfortable. He bragged constantly, claimed he was wealthy, owned a cattle farm, talked about how women supposedly adored him. Every message screamed insecurity disguised as arrogance. He even bragged about wearing wooden shoes during romantic encounters. At that point,
I remember staring at the screen thinking, is this guy real? The more he talked, the clearer it became. He wasn't dangerous because he was intelligent. He was dangerous because he believed people were stupid, especially women. And that confidence became his weakness.
After days of chatting, my girlfriend sighed and leaned back. "I'm bored," she said. Then she smiled. That smile meant chaos. "Let's go all in." She told him she might visit him, maybe hook up, but only under one condition. She loved cocaine, and it made her extremely affectionate. We expected hesitation. Instead, he panicked. Suddenly, the wealthy farm owner couldn't afford drugs. Even worse, he accidentally admitted his parents would be away that weekend. Parents on the farm he supposedly owned. The lies were collapsing in real time. That's when my girlfriend delivered the line that changed everything. She typed, "Didn't you know? If you mix 3 parts baking soda with 1 part vanilla sugar, it gives a rush just like cocaine, but cheaper and with a better aftertaste." We laughed so hard we nearly fell out of our chairs. It was absurd, obvious trolling. There was no way he'd believe it, right? Wrong. He replied almost instantly. "Oh yeah, I forgot about that trick." Forgot about that trick. We stared at each other in stunned silence. This man wasn't skeptical. He was grateful. He promised he'd make a batch immediately and test it that night. We logged off, assuming the joke was over. Surely he'd realize. Surely nobody could be that gullible. 2 days later, an email arrived. All caps. Rage practically leaking through the screen. "You made my nose bleed! I had to go to a clinic!" He was furious, insulting, blaming her completely. And for a brief moment, we thought it was over. But then, something incredible happened. Instead of backing down, we doubled down. We calmly explained he must have mixed it wrong. Obviously. User error. Then my girlfriend invented the most ridiculous lie imaginable. She claimed she used this homemade nose candy regularly because she starred in German amateur spanking films sold to tourists across Europe. It was so absurd it bordered on parody. We expected him to disappear immediately. Instead, he asked for proof. So we gave him proof. We grabbed a camera. Low resolution, terrible lighting. My girlfriend's younger brother volunteered to help. He wore long, curly hair to pretend to be her, fully clothed. Another friend lay across his lap while he lightly tapped him with a wooden spatula. I stood behind the camera, clapping wet hands to fake dramatic sound effects. Meanwhile, we shouted fake German-sounding nonsense. The result? An absolutely ridiculous fake trailer titled Spankin' Mein Scheisse. It looked awful. It sounded awful. It was obviously fake. But early internet quality worked in our favor. The grainy footage made it weirdly believable. We sent it and waited. His response came quickly. He believed it completely. He begged to buy the films. Actually begged. We agreed on one condition. He had to try the homemade cocaine again first. There was silence. No reply. No angry emails. No messages. Farmer Bob disappeared. Gone. Whether he finally realized the truth or finally felt embarrassed enough to vanish, we never knew. But one thing was certain. We never received another complaint linked to him again.
The creep who thought anonymity protected him had been defeated by his own ego.
What made this revenge satisfying wasn't cruelty. We didn't hunt him. We didn't expose him publicly. We simply held up a mirror. He believed he could manipulate strangers, exploit trust, hide behind a screen. Instead, his arrogance made him the easiest person in the room to manipulate. And maybe that's the real lesson of the early internet. Technology didn't change people. It only revealed who they already were. Sometimes justice doesn't come from rules or authorities. Sometimes it comes from communities refusing to tolerate bad behavior. And sometimes karma arrives disguised as baking soda. If this story made you laugh, shocked you, or reminded you of the chaos of early internet days, hit that like button and subscribe for more unbelievable revenge stories. And tell me in the comments, what's the most satisfying karma you've ever seen online? Because trust me, the internet never forgets.